Howdy-ho there, folks. It's just me again. I had plans of doing this whole thing, talking about wizards and the movie wizards, not like Gandalf, but the movie wizards, and I will probably do that one, but today kind of got away from me. So instead, I'm going to do another episode of talking about recent acquisitions. Now, here is a recent acquisition. It's called Sundown and Star Mist. What? Go that way. Yeah. All right. So it is a module for Star Frontiers. It's pretty interesting. There's a local game store that I go to from time to time that has a lot of, classic game stuff up on their shelves. And I saw this one and I was like, well, I don't have a lot of actual Star Frontiers in my collection. I have some of the PDFs that you can find online, but those aren't official. Although somebody put in a lot of work in making them, making the unofficial ones actually pretty high quality. I played Star Frontiers back in the day. I was a big fan of it. So it was nice finding an adventure. I probably won't do anything with this, except maybe sit down and read it once. It's not like there's a lot of demand for a Star Frontiers game, but still, I thought it was a nice acquisition. I love the cover art. It's got a little sticker on it, so you can't see it very well. A lot of wear and tear, but still, nice cover art. Next on the Wheel of Misfortune is another one of the Alternity books called Dark Matter Xenoforms. Now, Dark Matter was one of the sci-fi settings for Alternity. Star Drive was the more sort of spacey one. This one was more based on Earth with science fiction-y stuff in it. And this one is about aliens, demons, and aberrations. So it's something to look at. And also, in the Alternity line, I did a lot of Alternity grabbing because I wanted it for the collection, honestly. Now, this one is an arms and equipment guide for Dark Matter. I picked up one for the Star Drive, so might as well get one of these as well. Honestly, I don't think Dark Matter is as interesting a setting to me as Star Drive, just because it feels very sort of not quite X-File-ish, but or Fringe or something, but with more of an action tinge rather than a tension tinge, and I don't know. It's interesting, but if I were running an Alternity game, I'd probably run in Star Drive. Mainly because I have a deep and abiding love for good space sci-fi games. I recommend you check out Dawning Star. Right, Dawning Star. A friend of mine actually wrote a good portion of Dawning Star, and my first podcast was related to Dawning Star, and that's because I love science fiction, and it was a good, firm science fiction setting. Firm being the science is decent. It's at least a thought. It's not necessarily completely accurate to science, but it does a better job than most sci-fi. Science is often a plot driver rather than seen as something that you have to ignore to make a plot work, which I like. Anyways, I'll do a whole thing on Dawning Star when their new book comes out. Not too long from now, actually. They have a Fate version that they did a Kickstarter for, and it's been taking a while. I know why it's taken a while. But it should be coming out not too long, and when it comes out, I should be getting a copy, and I'll, talk more in depth about it then. Anyways, another recent acquisition, Starships. Now, this one is right in the star drive sort of sweet spot. Not a lot of need for starships in dark matter, but you know, it's you know, part and parcel with the whole sci-fi thing. You know, there's something about doing a sci-fi game where people want to have ships that travel between the stars. I think if I were coming up with my own sci-fi game right now without tying it to something else, it would actually be stuck in our solar system. And you know, it could be in the distant future, and there'd be various things going on in our solar system, but it would still be stuck in our solar system, because as much as people have theorized and tried to come up with cool sounding ways of making warp drives work, even the most theoretical, you know, awesome ones don't really meet any kind of practical test. There's no way you can test them. There was a star drive that they were talking about a while back where it would take almost all the energy in the universe originally to make your engine work, and then they were like, no, it's not that bad, just all the energy output of our sun, which still not really a practical option. If you can make that much power, you got other problems, really. So I think interstellar travel, like with a starship, generally speaking, I mean, I get why we have it, and there have been plenty of good stories told with it, so I don't object to it overall. But I would love to see a good sci-fi game that was just, you're stuck in our solar system. Sure, we go out to the Oort cloud or something, but yeah, the speed limit is light speed. Sorry, guys, that's the limit. You can't actually break that one. You know, that even getting near light speed is pretty much impossible in practical terms for any kind of spaceship. So, you know, being stuck with what we've got would make an interesting campaign setting. You could still do tons in our solar system, you know, colonizing the asteroid belt, the moons of Jupiter, cloud cities over Venus, you know, the solar sails to help, you know, get around the solar system. And I mean, there are a lot of cool things you can do in just keeping it in the solar system. It doesn't need aliens and all that. That said, I still like the games with the aliens and the star drives and everything. It's just if I were writing one and coming up with one right now that wasn't tied to something else, I would limit it to the solar system. That's just me. And the Alternity campaign kit. This one is really, it's okay. I mean, it's a you get basically a DM screen, which is nice. I like DM screens, so I'm not complaining, mind you. With lots of cool data on it, everything from what weapons do to some different modifiers for different attacks. I mean, it's a well done GM screen, and some things for like character sheets and ship record. Lots of different record sheets that you could use for your game. So I mean, it's a nice bit. I like it. You know, it's not a necessary thing, but I saw it there and I was like, sure, I'll grab it. Because really, kind of neat. And maybe someday I'll run Alternity. I'd like to do an Alternity game. You know, just a short run. Not a huge thing, but I think it's an interesting game. Now, one thing I will talk about briefly, and this is going longer than I intended. So, yeah, these were produced by TSR. And they're both excellent quality books. Don't get me wrong. They are well designed internally. They've got good layouts, good art. I mean, TSR made quality products even up to the end. But the end did come. And these are from Wizards of the Coast. So it's interesting to me that this represents the change from TSR to Wizards of the Coast. There's that cutoff point between these two, where where one manufacturer was making them, that manufacturer went away, and the other manufacturer started making them, continuing the line. Sadly, during that time, they kind of had to limit things down, and so they relaunched D&D, but Alternity, a lot of what happened in Eternity actually ended up in D20 Modern, though the rules are obviously different. But a lot of the development stuff that they did for Alternity ended up in D20 Modern, D20 Future, and all of that. So it didn't all just disappear. I have talked to a number of people who feel Alternity was a pretty good game, and so I've been looking into it, and it is a pretty neat game. I think I'm going to make a point of adding all the major books to my collection. Maybe I might let some of the adventures go, although I did see one by Bruce Cordell the other day that I might grab. But I do want to get the Player's Handbook and all of the major rule books and campaign setting books, because it is really interesting. It's really fascinating to me. Anyway, that's my roundup of things I got recently, and talking and rambling about science fiction games. And I will have something tomorrow, but I'm not sure what. I'm full of whimsy this weekend. Subscribe, like, share with all the people, and have a good day. See ya.